Hey guys, what's up? This is Bri. A few days before the new year, I am all in on helping you make 2023 the greatest year ever. If you haven't checked out heroic.us/GYE, get a basically 2-hour class workshop on how I think you can create the greatest year of your life in 2023, activate your heroic potential, and fundamentally and permanently change your life. Welcome to my office. Today we're going to talk about how I'm setting goals for 2023. We're going to talk about good strategy versus bad strategy. The fact that your vision needs to drive strategy, which then drives your targets, which then drives your tactics. I will share with you the one-page summation, basically, of my current take on my life. 30-year goal, 7-year goal, 2-year goal, 1-year goal, what I'm going to do in pursuit of those goals, etc. So I'll walk you through that. I'll tell you about my number one target, which is to get my Soul Force to 101 every single day at Heroic. And then I'll tell you about 3 tools I use to get clarity on my goals that I think you might find helpful as you get clarity on your goals. Number 1, targeted thinking, something I came up with. Heroic hope. We're going to talk about the science of hope. It's got a bunch of steps. First, you need to accept your current reality. If you continue to argue with reality, you're in trouble. Then you need to believe you can create a better future. We'll talk about the science of hope. Then you need to know what you want. What do you want? I ask myself this question all the time. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Then you need to have a plan. Then you need to dominate what's important now. Then you need to repeat forever. We're going to have fun with a new acronym, PUH, P-U-H. Phil Stutz just came up with that this morning. Phil Stutz in the documentary, Netflix documentary on him called Stutz by another one of his clients, Jonah Hill. If you haven't watched that yet, check it out, netflix.com/Stutz. He says, and Ronaldo quoted him in an Instagram post, "You will never be exonerated from pain, uncertainty, and hard work." We're going to talk about what that means. But targeted thinking is a really helpful tool that has shaped my life. Then we're going to talk about something called Angel's Advocate, where you wave a wand and you imagine your ideal future. What would it look like? Then we're going to talk about a Devil's Advocate. You better rub that up against reality. The secret doesn't work, folks. You got to do hard work. You got to be willing to look at the obstacles that are going to stand in your way, which leads us to the next tool, which I use basically every day, Whoop. Gabrielle Oettingen, one of my favorite teachers, rethinking positive thinking, and I got to go to the app too and start showing you what's going on here. So I'm going to reference a ton of things. Let's see if I can fat finger make this thing work. Rethinking the team. This is the Heroic app. The team will link to everything I reference. You can check out the notes in this, etc. But there's Whoop. So there's a tool in our app that I'm going to walk you through in this video that our head coach Michael helped articulate in this context. But basically, here's a tool on how to apply the science of making your dreams a reality. Here's a philosopher's note, Rethinking Positive Thinking, inside the New Science of Motivation by Gabrielle Oettingen. Again, I'm going to mention a ton of things. There will be links to the app where you can get all of this content that I'm talking about. Oh, shoot. I got it too before I forget. We have a crowdfunding round open right now. Now, this is at wefunder.com/heroic. We were blessed to make history as the very first company to ever raise $5 million via the new crowdfunding regulations that came out in March of 2021. Feel super blessed. We have the support now of 3,000 investors from 75 countries. And anytime I talk about what I want to create, which I'm going to do when I share my goals, I need to make sure I make the SEC happy by saying unequivocally, and again, you can learn more about what we're up to, wefunder.com/heroic, with the movement, the fact that we're creating a social platform that trains heroes. There's my 1,000-second timer. Boom, stand up. 100. Anyway, you can learn more about what we're up to, what Heroic is. Can't get enough of this John Mackey, founder of Whole Foods, comment. Thank you, John. Heroic is the best self-development platform in the world. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, John. Anyway, we talk all about the business, but then the thing I picked up the phone to make sure I shared is anytime I talk about goals that we have, right? I need to disclose that I'm talking about things that are uncertain. So these materials, including this video, may contain forward-looking statements and information relating to, among other things, the company, its business plan and strategy, and its industry. There you go. There is the copy. You could read in full to understand that everything I'm saying comes with huge asterisks, that I got to do the hard work. We got to get blessings from the heroic gods to make it all come together. That's common sense, but I got to make sure I'm checking that box. So there you go, box checked. If it wasn't properly checked, our head of operations will ensure it is by adding some edit to this otherwise one-take video. So again, good strategy starts with your vision, strategy, targets, tactics. I'm going to tell you my number one target, targeted thinking, angel's advocate. Whoop, we're going to talk about the science. You got to be willing to pay the price. And then you got to hit it again and again and again. You don't get clarity. I'm going to share some pretty concrete clarity that I have. Well, this is a function of every morning before I do my meditation, I do a really chicken scratch version of the kind of nicer version of what I'm going to share with you today. But boom, I remind myself, what's my ultimate target? What's my 30-year target? What's my 2030 target? What's my 2025 target? And you'll see, it's the same exact thing. I pay the tax on having clarity on my vision every single day, and that's how you get clarity. Friend of mine, Cal Newport, says, and we had a conversation once in which he said, you accrete value. Every day you show up and you do deep work, you get a little bit more value, a little bit more clarity if we're talking about your goals for 2023 in your life. You're like a stone cutter that's hammering away at the rock, hammering away at the rock, hammering away at the rock, hammering away at the rock. It's not the first or second or third or fifth or even 10th or 20th or 30th hit that breaks the rock. You got to constantly craft your vision. So again, when you look at my clarity, know that I have put in an insane number of reps over the last, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 quarters, 2 years, 2 decades to get clarity and to create a life that I feel blessed to have now. So if you want clarity on what you want to do in 2023 and beyond, you too need to do the hard work. Unplug from all the nonsense and get to work. Give us what you got. How about a quick tour of my desk, and then I'll get to work. I love this. This is my bookmark often. I've got the heroic hat coming to a store near you. I love that. I got a broken arrow from my friend Brian Kane, who teaches you how to break an arrow with your neck. You too can do that. You just need to know the strategy. I got feathers from Happy the Rooster, who passed away. We now have Happy the Third. And then I've got cardinal feathers. I have a collection of cardinal feathers in that little jar. We live on a little property. There's the studio where I film stuff when I'm doing professional work. Anyway, cardinals are my favorite bird because they represent the cardinal virtues, and my kids collect them for me. I have a stack of notes from our investors. I have read every single note that our investor has ever sent telling me why they have invested. Get tears in my eyes. Oh, shoot. Oh, man, just such good people. 3,000 people around the world. I recommit every morning to my sacred vow to make them proud and to do everything in my power to fulfill our mission to change the world, etc. Anyway, I recommit to that. I've got my stack of notes from my coaching sessions with Phil Stutz. I could do daily videos on this alone. This is the last 6 months. So I've worked with him for 6 years. So I've got a stack reaching up here, very, very high on that. I've got my notes from my last session with Phil. I review my notes I work with him now once a week. We were doing twice a week for almost 2 years. But between sessions, I review my notes and get something new out of it, etc. Then I've got some quotes that inspire me. Believe with all your heart that you will do what you were made to do, Orison Swett Martin. Got another one. Most obstacles melt away when we make up our minds to walk boldly through them. Boom, let's go. A hero's journey is supposed to be challenging. Those obstacles are fuel, which we'll talk about. Then I got a stack of other stuff, including some of my favorite notes. So I'm rereading my Philosopher's Notes, which I just shared with you in the app. But man, the great work of your life, bringing the Bhagavad Gita and yogic philosophy to life and creating a life of purpose. That's amazing. And then the strategy stuff that I already referenced is based on my rough notes that I'm going to turn into real Philosopher's Notes soon. And we'll share these too. So these are just rough little PDFs, but basically good strategy involves focus and therefore choice. And choice means setting aside some goals in favor of others. When that hard work is not done, whether it's in a business or your life, weak amorphous strategy is the result. Hard work. Bad strategy is just not doing the hard work of crafting a good strategy, right? Blah, 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 blah. So we need to focus on what we think is the most important stuff. We can talk more about that. Some of my other favorite notes while we're here. Leadership in Turbulent Times. I don't know how many times I've reread that note. It's amazing. The Ethics by Aristotle again. Future Visions, Overachievement, Spiritual Economics. You want to get your kind of relationship to money in order. Check out Eric Butterworth, one of Oprah's favorite writers and teachers, Maya Angelou's spiritual advisor. How Champions Think by Bob Rotella, another favorite. Peter Drucker, The Effective Executive. Let's go. Orson Swett Marden, again, I can go off on that all day. Let's bring ourselves back to focus. Let's get to work. Now, my number one target for the year is to get my soul force at 101. Check out heroic.us/GYE, the free 2-hour, 2-part class workshop on how I think we can support you in getting your soul force, which is what the phrase we use to describe your superpower. There's my wall. I got these guys staring at me all day, every day. How you doing, Jesus, Ignatius, Mother Teresa, Confucius, Epictetus, John Wooden, Aristotle, Frankl, Abraham Maslow, Alexander the Great, Gandhi, MLK, Eleanor Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Dwight D. Eisenhower, who led D-Day on World War II. What do all those people have in common? They're all very, very different. They're all heroic. They had one thing in common, which is they activated their soul force, which is what we describe as your heroic superpower. And then we've got other ones. I got myself up there. We give our team their own heroic portrait. The day you start at heroic, day one, we say, send us a portrait of yourself that inspires you, because we're going to support you in being that best version of yourself. And we're also going to hold you accountable to showing up as that best version. 2 living heroes, 2 mentors of mine, John Mackey, founder of Whole Foods, and then Phil Stutz. Every morning, these heroes come off the wall and talk to me in my meditation, like Dumbledore's headmasters. Let's go. Soul Force 101. Check out heroic.us/GYE for that. So I'm not going to go into that more now, because there's a whole workshop on that. So targeted thinking, envision, strategy, targets, tactics, actually. Let me share my vision. So, and then we'll go into detail on targeted thinking. I'll walk you through those steps, and I'm going to go long on this. So cue Maui's You're Welcome. That song just cracks me up anytime I do something ridiculous, like go long on a video like this. You're welcome. Let's go. All right. So this is literally something that I have journaled, a version of this. Do I want to say over 1,000 times? Probably over 1,000 times, but let's just say hundreds and hundreds of times. So I'm constantly crafting in the rough kind of, hey, this is the high level napkin stuff I'm committed to. But then I'll go deeper and make it a little prettier, right? And I'll pay the vision, the clarity tax. This takes me 5, maybe 10 minutes to do. 2 pages, one in which I do the high level, then the second one is who I'm going to be. So I use the app, Heroic app, to tap, but I still write out my identities, my virtues, energy, work, and love, and then what I'm going to do that's most important. So today I wrote down, literally, most important thing today to execute the vision I'm going to share with you is this video. So perfect. I do what's most important now. It is literally my number one target in the, disciplined athlete, we'll come back to you. In my work identity, heroic philosopher CEO, I've got all these virtues I want to embody. Boom, let's go. Check out the Let's Go show, the daily Let's Go shows for more. But I basically commit to doing my number one win for the day. So I've already done some stuff that I consider important, but this is the next most important thing today. Now, I set that target every day, and I hit it every single day. Boom. When I hit it, I get that little target splash. I've hit that 575 times over the last, how long have we had the app? 8 months or so? Again, longer chat. I go through the app in detail. every single day to try to share with you little things of how I'm using it. But this is how I start my journaling every day. The first thing I write down is I am 101% all in today and forever. You may have seen me reveal that guy before, but I tattooed my body with heroic, and I remind myself every single day, if you look at that, right? So you see hero, and then I had to decide where I was going to put 51, 20, 51, which is the ultimate mission that you're going to see that I have dedicated my life to. I tattooed my body with my 30-year target, right? And the joke I have is, in Marie Forleo's Everything is Figure Outable, she says, hey, if you write down your goals, research says you're like 42% more likely to achieve them. Perfect. Some people put their goals on their bathroom mirror. I tattooed my body with it. Now I had to decide where I was going to put it, right? I just had heroic as a tattoo, which looked pretty good by itself. And I'm like, all right, I want to mess this up. Where do I put it? So tattoo artist and I, blindside tattoo downtown Austin, Mr. Ciego, thank you, sir. And I decided that we should put it right above the eye. So every single morning when I start my meditation, I pull up my sleeve, stand up, 1,000-second timer, and I say to myself, hero, I see. Hero, I see a world in which 51% of humanity is flourishing by the year 2051. That is my 30-year target to which I have dedicated my life. Then you'll see below that, I've got 101 and a million. I got that tattoo on Father's Day, brought my kids to the tattoo studio. That's like me. Let's go. I'll show them what commitment looks like. Tattooed that to my body. Now, what does that mean? Well, in order to create a world in which 51% of humanity is flourishing by the year 2051, and I'm not saying that billions of people are going to be using heroic. I'm saying that I want to help create a world in which 51% of humanity is flourishing by the year 2051. That's a Martin Seligman positive psychology movement moonshot goal that I thought was crazy when I first heard it. I still think it's crazy. It's now my life's mission. But I want to train heroes. This is what we do. We train heroes, unapologetic intensity. So then by 2030, I want to get 1 million people to activate their soul force so they're showing up more like their version of these folks. And we measure that in our app by getting your soul force to 101. And again, check out the app and the walkthrough and all of that. But when you use the app, you basically create a soul force. So Aura has a readiness score. We have a soul force score. And your soul force score is calculated based on the consistency with which you do what you say you will do. The entire app, as you'll see in the nav, is about moving you from theory to practice to mastery. Oops, got it. Together today, right? So your soul force score is calculated. It starts at 80, and every day you do what you say you will do, you get another point, another point, another point, another point. It takes you 21 days to go from 80 to 100. You miss a day? Cool, you lose a point. And the reason for this is that I believe that there's an equation to cultivating soul force, and I write that equation down every single day. I'll walk you through it in a second. And again, I do this in Greatest Year Ever. But consistency is the exponentializer. If you show up once in a while, or worse, when you feel like it, you will never actualize your heroic potential, period. Greatness, however you want to measure it, whether it's being a mom or a dad or an entrepreneur or a creator or a meditator or a spiritual teacher, is all about consistency on the fundamentals. The Buddha reached enlightenment and he continued meditating. And if the Buddha needs to continue dominating his fundamentals, guess what? I'm humble enough to realize I'm probably going to need to submit myself to practices and do the things I know I do when I'm at my best. Not once in a while, not when I feel like it, but all day, every day, especially when I don't feel like it. And that's how you go from being super on and fired up, setting New Year's resolutions, and then, oh shoot, I forgot about them. After a weekend workshop, you're on fire. Congratulations. You're like being shot out of a cannonball, I like to say. Then you come back. And sometimes you go back lower because now you know what that feels like and you know you're not doing what you need to do to be there. You got to make that state experience a trait. I don't care how many psychedelic trips you take in a state, if you're not doing the work to make that state experience your stage of development, you're in trouble. The good news is You can make your highs higher and your lows higher if you dominate the fundamentals, which again is what the Heroic app is all about. So Soul Force 101, it restarts. So you get to 101, perfect. The next day, you're back at 100. This is a really important idea. You got to re-earn that last point to get to 101. Steve Chandler talks about it. I'll find this and we'll link to it in the show notes. Steve Chandler and Phil Stutz, two of the coaches I've worked with for years. Steve Chandler before Phil Stutz. Steve says, look, your spiritual fire goes out every morning. You build a fire in the real world and a fire in the real world goes out in the morning, you got to rebuild it, right? Same with your life. You got to show up and rebuild your energy every single day. As Phil Stutz says, you're never going to be exonerated from hard work. Longer chat. Now, back to my tattoo down there, which represents my 2030 target. By 2030, I want to help create a community in which 1 million people have activated their soul force at 101. Boom, that's what that means for me. Okay, well, that makes sense. That coheres, right? My vision of a better world is driven by the strategy of getting that many people activated by 2030. Does that solve all the world's problems? No. Does it make a significant contribution? Yes. Does that fire me up? Absolutely. This is why I'm all in. Again, remember, a hero isn't a tough guy or a killer of bad guys. A hero is a protector. That's what the word meant in ancient Greece. A hero has strength for two. A hero is willing to do the hard work to have that strength. A hero's secret weapon is love. Ultimately, that's what drives everything. You look at our app again, just to go back there one more time. The first thing we built with MetaLab, the company that helped design our app, and again, MetaLab helped build Slack, Tinder, Uber Eats. When we were blessed to get all that support from those investors, a lot of capital. We raised $11 million basically in our seed round. Invested that in the best product development firm in the world. And we wanted to create a brand that was like Tesla for self-development. Beautiful, elegant. You enjoyed using the app experience. Most self-development is blue skies and white clouds, not us. We're dark mode. It's hard, folks. You want to create a great life? It's not about getting rid of your stress. It's about learning how to eat it like an energy bar. Boom, let's go. Point I want to make here is the first thing we designed was a virtue compass. Why would we do that? Well, again, check out Greatest Year Ever. But if you asked ancient wisdom and modern scientists, ancient wisdom philosophers, what the ultimate game of life is, they would tell you to be your best self in service to something bigger than yourself. And then I basically map out the cardinal virtues of ancient wisdom and modern science on a virtue compass. So there's wisdom, there's self-mastery, there's love, and there's courage. But it's love that gives you the power to move toward your challenges with courage. Again, longer chat we'll save for another time. So 51, 20, 51 for me is my 30-year goal, and I'm sharing a lot about me. Think about you. What do you see when you look forward in the year 2050? And again, I realize that's a big question. It's an important question. And then look beyond that. Actually, the most important question is how, not the most important, but one of, Stephen Covey, end of your life. I may not be around for another 3 minutes. Something could happen right now. Memento mori. Where's my coin? On my desk somewhere. Did the kids take it? I don't know. Memento mori. I don't know when I'm going to die. You don't know when you're going to die, but how are people going to talk about you in your eulogy? That's one way to get clarity real quick. And then my challenge to you is live in integrity with that today, which is why we spend so much time helping you get clarity on your virtues. I've never seen a habit tracking app that tells you get clarity on who you are virtue-wise. And don't think about that once in a while. Don't think about it on New Year's Eve. Think about it every single day. You want to be remembered as an encouraging, noble, inspiring, loving, kind human being who is a joy to be around. These are my identities in love. You know, I want to be remembered as present and joyful and encouraging and grateful and connected and patient and kind and generous and loving. I get tears in my eyes. That's important to me. So I remind myself of that every single day. Am I getting fired up? Yes, I am. All right, 2030 goal. Okay, bring that back closer to today. Another frame here is dynamic tension. I'll have the team share a +1 with you in the show notes as well. There's something called dynamic tension where you have this big vision, like a rubber band being stretched between your fingers, right? Then you need to hold the tension between your current reality and your ideal future state. It's a very important thing. You got to have coherence from the big picture all the way down to today. And not only today, but to this moment, which, let's make sure we have another tattoo reveal, is why I tattooed my body with that. Brandon Geyer, dear friend, inspired me to get it. BG, appreciate you. Let's go. Arate. So I got this barking at me all day, and I got this barking at me all day. And so you know, when I live with this, arate, which literally means excellence or virtue, I am heroic. In that moment, I am showing up as my best self. I'm closing the gap that I talk about all the time. Again, check out GYE and everything else we do. But that's how you hold the big vision with the current reality, is you make this moment your best. This moment, in integrity with your higher ideals. If I say that this is important to me, and then I spend all day looking at Instagram or watching Netflix shows, I'm out of integrity. I should feel bad. I should have a bit of anxiety, depression, ick, which is what exists when there's a gap between what you're capable of being and what you're actually being. So all that psychological stress, I love you, hugs, etc., can be used as a powerful signal that you're not quite in integrity with your highest self. And we need to have self-compassion. We need to, and I'm going to talk about this when and if I get to targeted thinking. You need to radically accept where you're at, shine a flashlight on what needs a little bit of work, and then bring a hammer to it. No shame. Make it a game. Let's go. 30 years, 2030, and then for me, 2025, I want to help 1 million people hit one target. So we've got 1 million people who have activated their soul force and 1 million people who have answered the call. So part of why I'm going to do more videos like this and my daily show is I got to send out the bat signal. I've been a hermit. I've been sitting in, doing my reading, doing my writing, doing my teaching, kind of in bubble wrap, doing that again and again and again. Not anymore. I'm putting out a bat signal all day, every day. It gets me emotional too. Like, we got to get those heroes trained. You got to answer the call. And whether you're aligned with our mission and how we're approaching things with ancient wisdom or modern science, perfect, you know? But answer the call. Show up. We need you to live your heroic journey. Let's go. So again, 2025, I want to help 1 million people hit a target answering the call on our heroic platform and community. 2030, a 101 times 1 million, 30 years, boom. Can we create a world in which 51% of humanity is flourishing by 2051? Man, I don't even want to think about the odds of that. That's an insane challenge. Yes, let's go, all in. 2023, more briefly now, I want to create an anti-fragile business for heroic, where we're profitable and we're properly funded. I've got a goal of 6 months EBITDA positive, which will lead to some exciting asterisk potential opportunities with partners. So I'm all in. Let's create 6 months of profit, basically, right? Now, how are we going to do that? How are we going to create an anti-fragile business that is what is going to help us achieve all the other things that we just described? And again, this is my obsession for 2023, anti-fragile business. Well, I got 3 things for that. So in 2023, we're going to do 3 things with heroic. Number 1, we're going to really get the heroic flywheel, which is a business concept, dialed in. We call it the CF2 engine. CF, cash flow and crowdfunding engine. Now, in order to create a profitable business, whether it's heroic or you as a life coach or a massage therapist or whatever, you better be insanely great. Before I put John Mackey up there, I had Steve Jobs up there. He's under him right now. So Steve Jobs, this whole thing was insanely great. Why is Apple Apple? Because everything they do is insanely great. It's 10x better than anything else. Peter Thiel style, 0 to 1. So we are committed to doing everything at an insanely great level. We want to make it astonishingly valuable for you. Where you're like, really? They give me all this for free? Then they only charge me that for that and that for that? This is amazing. And our mantra is give the best to the most for the least, everything we do. So we've got a big 3 plus 1 for our business. Free stuff like this, premium stuff, which is $20 a month, $200 a year, where you get all the stuff I keep on pointing to in the app, right? All the theory stuff, there's a ton of it in there. 600 philosophers notes, 1,000 plus ones, 50 101 classes, a toolbox, etc. And then the practice side of things, that's part of our premium offering. We're committed to making that insanely great. And then we've got a mastery program, a heroic mastery that we're launching just over 2 weeks, January 15th. Cannot wait to share more on that. And then we've got a coach program. Over 10,000 people from over 100 countries have gone from it. Science says this changes lives and this changes lives. We're proud of that. Longer chat. That's the first thing. Get the flywheel dialed in. The second thing is to launch social. So the whole vision with Heroic is to create a social training platform where we got the training stuff going on, but it's single player mode. So we worked with MetaLab to design a social platform that will be an alternative to Twitter, Facebook, etc. We're really, really fired up about it. This is launching, call it Q2 2023, early 2023, asterisk, planning to, etc. But it's going to be amazing. I'll be able to connect with you. You'll be able to connect with other buddies. Heroes get buddies on a quest, and they get guides. And then we're going to invite a bunch of other guides to join us. Our coaches will become guides. It's going to be awesome. There's a V1 to that. There's a V2 to that. There's a V3 to that we've already got conceptualized, and I'm excited about. 1, 2, number 3, we're going to launch my book, which is actually Heroic Public Benefit Corporation's book. I don't own the rights. Our company and our investors do. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller on Black Friday 2023. That is the hoped for ambition and what we intend to do. So we're really excited about that. Black Friday 2023. That's going to launch Tuesday that week, November 21st. And then I want to stick in the top 10, etc. Now, that's how I'm thinking about my life every single day. I got a 30-year goal. I got an ultimate commitment to get my soul force dialed in. I've got a 30-year goal. I got a decade goal. I got a 2-year goal. I got a 1-year goal. And then I got specific things I'm going to do. And then what am I going to do today? We're launching Greatest Year Ever 101. I'm going to help people activate their heroic potential, fundamentally and permanently change their life, and make this the greatest year ever. 30 minutes in. Let's go. All right. Back to our agenda. Targeted thinking, Angel's Advocate, whoop. Now we're going to get to work on you. Hopefully my demonstration of that inspired at least a thought or two. If not, God bless you for still being here. If so, awesome. Let's go. Targeted thinking. Heroes have targeted thinking. We get clear on what we want, and then we figure out a plan to go get it while embodying the science of hope, etc. So 0, 1, 2, 3, +1 steps. The first thing that we need to do right now as we look forward to 2023 in any moment of our lives is radically accept our current reality. Zero shame about where we're at. And just full acceptance. We're blessed to be alive. I know that you've got challenges. I've got challenges. We've all got challenges on a spectrum of humanity, Noble truth number 1, life is full of suffering. We need to radically accept that. We need to quit arguing with reality, as Byron Katie would say, in Loving What Is, team, put that in as a note, link. The Stoics, this is rule number 1. The Stoics radically accept everything. This is what Marcus Aurelius tells me every day. He says, live from your inner citadel. Nothing gets into my consciousness except that which I allow it to, unless something sneaks by my citadel, my sentinel rather, and sneaks into my mind. We need to accept reality, the Stoics tell us, and know that we only have control over our responses to whatever is happening in our behaviors, our thoughts and our behaviors. Accept radically. Zero shame. It is what it is. Shame does not help. Check out the notes on self-compassion. Then you want to bring a flashlight, not a hammer to yourself and shame yourself. Bring a flashlight and take a quick look and a close look at what's working in your life and what's not. What do you need to change? We all have things we need to stop doing. We all have things we could start doing. And again, this is Greatest Year Ever 101, the app 101. Bring a flashlight to that. Curiosity is a virtue on our virtue compass. Now, once you've brought a flashlight, bring a hammer. If you continue to drink too much, if you continue to do whatever it is you do too much that you know doesn't serve you, stop doing that. Make a commitment to something bigger than yourself. Bring a hammer. Do the hard work to figure out how you change your behavior. And again, our app has been scientifically shown to help people become more energized, productive, and connected. How? By moving from theory to practice to mastery. By getting you to start installing and deleting habits like a ninja. But first it starts with acceptance. Then you got to believe. You got to believe you can create a better future. If you don't, you're literally hopeless. So the science of hope begins with a clear target. That's step one. 2, you need to have agency. You need to believe that you can achieve what you want. And 3, you need to have pathways, a plan, a vision of your future that inspires you, pathways, a plan A, plan B, plan C, whatever it takes, and agency that you can do it. You're a hero. Let's go. No hopelessness. And then when you believe that, you ask yourself the question, well, what do I want? And this is the most important question that we can ask ourselves. At the end of the year, every single day, whenever we're struggling, if your kids are annoying you, step back, stimulus and response. What do you want? Well, God, I want to be a great parent. I want to live in integrity with my virtue of patience. So let me take a deep breath. And then I also want them to understand that yelling isn't an effective way to get what they want. So perfect. I'm going to move from victim, complaining about everything in my life that isn't working, to creator, to hero, by getting real clear on what I want and then deciding what I need to do to get it. I need to craft a plan, right? I need to accrete clarity on that plan. I need to take action is the next step by deciding, now I know what I want. I got a plan to get it, and then what's important right now? And I mean that literally, not someday, right now. Arate is not an abstract idea. You can't even seize the day. That's not possible. You can seize the moment or not. And when you know what's important to you in your life, and you have a plan to go get it, you can identify what's important now. And again, it's never going to be perfect. Just decide what you're going to go do, and then go do it. And then also know another thing from Phil Stutz. In our very first chat that I had with him on January, if I undid that, I will undo that because I'm curious. January, what was it? 13th, 2017, my very first day of work with Phil. And I photocopied that and I put it on top of my stack. He told me about the laws of action. Speed is a force. Do it now. The longer you wait to take action, the more your confidence erodes. A death cookie. I'll do some +1s on this and maybe other videos. Whatever scares you the most, you need to eat it. You need to kill that little part of you that's afraid of things. Every time you do that, you get a little stronger. And you got to take action. Creative action. Action drives creativity. Something scares you, do it, but don't wait until your plan is perfect. Just take action. When you take action and you repeat that, you get more and more clarity. And we've got the poo in here. You got to be willing to embrace the pain, uncertainty, and hard work of making this come together. When you feel yourself wobbly, you feel yourself getting off, redo it. Accept, believe, ask yourself what you want, figure out a plan, then do what needs to get done. Repeat forever. You will never be exonerated. We can talk about that for a weekend. We'll leave it at that. Second thing to consider journaling on, reflecting on, is the Angel's Advocate exercise. Wave the wand. Imagine your ideal life in 2023. Energy, work, and love. What's your life look like? Wave the wand. Think of your life in 5, 10, 25, 50 years, God willing. Who's your best self? This is a psychologically proven exercise. To imagine your best self in the future is a way to build your hope muscles. If you haven't done this in a long time, don't expect to be able to lift a lot of weight. I still remember the very first coaching session I ever did with one of my dearest friends who I've known longer than anyone on the planet, basically. The night this guy was born, Dan, love you, brother, his brother spent in my house, 2 years younger than me. First guy I ever coached, All-American baseball player, worked for me at my first company when I had a lot more hair, 25, whatever years ago. And I walked him through something like this. And he came back the next day, and this is a very talented guy that can do a lot of things I can't do. And said, man, that was the hardest thing I've ever done to try to get clarity on this. I said, exactly. It's like a muscle. You got to work it out. You're not going to go run a marathon tomorrow unless you've been training. Well, same thing. You're not going to get clarity on your ideal. It's not like I sat down one morning and wrote that. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm going to do. Boom, that was easy. It's not easy. I've hammered. You got to build your muscle. But who are you? Wave your wand. If everything went perfectly, what would your life look like? Start from that place. The Angel's Advocate, an angel on your shoulder helping you, guiding you. But then you got to bring in the Devil's Advocate. And you got to rub your vision up against reality. And this is where stuff like The Secret, another 11 burpees, falls short. We need to imagine what could go wrong. We need to bring the Devil's Advocate in, rub it up against reality. The constraints of reality are good. Check out Perfectionism, Conquering Perfectionism 101, the notes on Tal Ben-Shahar's Pursuit of Perfect for more. If you don't embrace the constraints of reality, you will suffer. You're going to become an unhealthy perfectionist, disillusioned, idealist, etc. So the practical way to go through that exercise is the WHOOP practice, which I do, again, basically every day. What do you want is the wish. If you could wave a wand, what would you see in 2023 or with the next meeting you have or with a conversation with a loved one, whatever? What's your wish? Why do you want that to come to fruition? The outcome or the benefits. Then, very importantly, boom, we start with the warm and fuzzy. You must start there. Get excited about life again, right? If you've lost some hope. Then, only then, rub it up against reality. What obstacles might you face? So if I want to do this, I mean, this is insane. The scope of my ambition here, and again, my first virtue I commit to every morning is I'm fiercely ambitious. This is fiercely ambitious. I know that. It's going to come with so much pain, so much uncertainty, so much hard work, and I'm willing to pay the price. And there are so many obstacles involved in me executing that. Perfect. What are they for you? And then what's your plan? If you hit that obstacle, then what are you going to do? That's WHOOP. Again, Gabrielle Oettingen out of NYU, brilliant scientist. She discovered that people who want to lose weight, for example, who only imagine themselves at an ideal weight, don't lose as much weight as people who imagine how hard it's going to be. Because these people know it's going to be hard. They work harder. Same thing with people who want to find a job. People who just imagine, oh yeah, it'd be great to have a job. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to visualize it all day. Good luck with that. It's going to be hard. There are however many hundreds of people applying for that one job that you want. Perfect. What's your plan? How are you going to astonish them? How are you going to be such an insanely great candidate that they're like, wow, who's this human being? This is the type of people we hire. Let's go. Initiative. Wow, who does that? Someone I want to work with. Let's go. What's your wish? What's your outcome? What's your obstacle? What's your plan? Boom. You got to be willing to pay the price. Know what you want. Know the price you're going to need to pay. And either pay it or not, which is an important part of the process. You may go through this and realize, you know what? I'm not willing to pay that price. Look, I have to recommit to paying the price every day. I'm making a lot of trade-offs. I've made a lot of decisions that are affecting every aspect of my life. My energy, my work, my love, perfect. I'm paying the price. I've chosen to be as heroic as I can be. I'm not going to be a victim about it, right? I'm going to move from victim to creator to hero all day, every day, except when I don't. Let's go. There you go. That's a very long video where I still just scratch the surface of so many things on how I'm setting goals for 2023. Remember, good strategy is driven by a vision which informs the strategy. Then you set clear targets. Then you set the tactics. Then you get to work. My number one target, again, is Soul Force. We got to get our energy dialed in. I didn't talk to you about that. Let's go there real quick. That's a perfect way to send you off. And then, of course, we did Targeted Thinking, Angel's Advocate, WHOOP, etc. So I write down 101% all in today and forever. And then I write this little, circle and then a circle. What that represents for me, and I draw an arrow here, that's a Phil Stutz idea. So Phil's all about giving more than you think you can give, 101%. And again, of course, you can't give more than 100%, but try to. Try to give more than you think you are capable of to every moment of your life. I get emotional saying this. And he says, when you do that, something happens. You connect to a higher force. You connect to the field, is how he would describe it. But you connect to something bigger than yourself. And you get power you simply couldn't have had if you didn't put it all out. And he uses sports as a metaphor often. And he's like, you watch a basketball game. There's one or two guys, professional or college level, that are all in all the time. They're just hustling. They don't take plays off. And again, baseball, whatever sport, they're just the guys that are just all in. And that's who I want to be, in service to something bigger than myself. Boom, so I draw that, right? And then I'd write Soul Force equals energy times focus times what's important now to the power of consistency. So how do you activate your Soul Force? Well, we got one way in the app. But then I talk about this in Greatest Year Ever in depth, and I have an equation I walk you through. But you got to get your energy dialed up, you got to get your focus dialed up, you got to get your ability to focus on what's important dialed up, and most importantly, you need to consistently do that. So if you're at a 1, a 1, a 1, that's 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, obviously. If your consistency is a 1, your soul force sucks. It's a 1. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning. When your energy sucks, you can't focus it, and you have nothing that's important to you, then the only thing you do consistently is that. Okay, well, 1 to the power of 100 pretty sure is 1. Good luck with that. Now, what if instead you do the hard work in 2023 and you get your energy to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, let's say 100. And then you cultivate your ability to focus. Not going to happen instantly, but you get better and better and better. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then you get better and better and better at knowing who you are and what you want and doing what's important right now. And that's at 100. 100 times 100 times 100 is 1,000,000. Okay, well then how consistently can you do that? Do you do it when you feel like it and you're a 1 consistency or a 0 consistency? Well, 1,000,000 to the power of 0 is 1. You're as bad as the guy that never gets excited, or gal. That's like getting excited by this video, feeling fired up for an hour or two, and then going back to where you were. Not helpful, guys. We got to be consistent in getting our energy high, focused on what's important now. Now, 1,000,000, 100, 100, 100, 1,000,000 to the power of 100. You know what that answer is? I share this often, and I share it in Greatest Year Ever. You can do this in a Google calculator. The first time I did it, I will always remember the answer. The answer to what happens when you get your energy to 100 by eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, do what you know you could be doing consistently. Energy to 100, and you focus at 100 on what's important now at 100 consistently. The worse you feel, the more committed you are. You work your protocol. Your consistency is 100. Your power is infinite. The answer to the 1,000,000 to the power of 100 is infinity, literally. That is your soul force, and that is what I'm fiercely committed to helping you get to 101, so we can activate your heroic potential, fundamentally and permanently change your life, and make 2023 the greatest year of your life. Let's go, hero, day one.